Regent Ganal, you've said if elected, you would work to roll back the legislation that was recently passed on abortion. Colorado voters have consistently voted against more restrictions on abortion. Why do you believe more restrictions are needed?
Well, my journey's been a bumpy one to having my 4 kids. It's taken a lot of time. Obviously, I'm a little older and I have younger kids, and I've had several miscarriages along the way. And I have so much compassion for any woman facing this difficult decision. And I want to bring common sense back to Colorado, and abortion should be rare and safe. But what's not common sense is a radical bill that was signed without the will of the people of Colorado, without a vote of the people of Colorado, that allows abortion up until the baby's birth date, in the final weeks of pregnancy. And I think we can do better in Colorado. No, I did rip up that disgusting bill because of late-term abortion. I do not believe that's who we are in Colorado. And I want to make sure that I don't divide us anymore. So I've made a pledge that any changes to abortion law will go to a vote of the people of Colorado. I will not sign it. I will put it back to a vote of the people of Colorado to make sure this issue does not divide us anymore. But we've also got to make adoption more affordable and easier. Right now, it's 3 years and $30,000 to adopt a child in Colorado. We've also have 1,500 kids in our foster care system. I mentioned I was on the board of CASA, court-appointed special advocates, and really got a deep understanding of the issues our foster care system is facing right now. We have 1,500 kids who need homes right now. That's an issue we can all agree on, and we can come together and work on. And finally, I am so passionate about helping young women. I launched a company with my older daughter, She Factor, which helps young women in their 20s launch a life that they love. I also started Moms Fight Back, a charity, about 10 years ago, and I'm so proud we got bipartisan legislation passed to educate court folks or people working in the courts on domestic violence, child abuse, and incest so they can make better decisions for children. So I will always support women. I understand it's a very difficult issue, and I don't want to divide Colorado anymore. I want to bring us together on it.
Thank you. And we have a specific question for Governor Polis. Allison, go ahead.
So, Governor, you signed this legislation. Polls show Coloradans want access to abortion. Those same polls show Coloradans support some limits. Would you sign legislation putting some restrictions on abortion later in pregnancy?
Well, first, my heart goes out to my opponent for her own, personal struggles in reproductive health. Marlon and I have a dear friend where they just lost a baby after 5 months. It's really hard for anybody. I fundamentally believe that the government should not make women's health care decisions. Nothing could be more intimate, more challenging, and more difficult than the decision that a woman faces. We need to make sure that that's between a woman and her doctor. Let's be clear here. My opponent said she would rip up the law that protects Coloradans from having police and district attorneys go after them for choosing to end a pregnancy. Coloradans have voted down ballot measures banning abortion 5 times in recent years. And it's really important that we make sure that, especially in this day and age, when Roe versus Wade has gone away, my opponent celebrated the repeal of Roe versus Wade. For better or worse, it's now up to states. I want to make sure that Colorado remains a state where the government and bureaucrats don't insert themselves into that very private and difficult conversation between a woman and her doctor.
Ms. Ganal, go ahead.
Again, I will put that to a vote of the people of Colorado. And yes, I do think it's terrible to abort a baby in the final weeks of pregnancy.
What did the ripping up mean? I mean, would you put that to vote people to rip it up, or would you rip it up?
Abortion, and I do believe Roe versus Wade should be a state's decision, and Colorado has spoken. You passed a law without the will of the voters, and I would like to go back to the voters of Colorado to find a compromise. But also, if you care so much about women's health care choices, how come you fired so many women health care workers because they didn't feel comfortable getting a vaccination during COVID?
Governor, you choose to respond.
Well, look, Colorado remains a state where, we have friends that haven't been vaccinated and friends who have. I certainly encourage it. I've been vaccinated.
Did they lose their job by you?
The Omicron.
Did you fire them?
No, state workers, they had to, there was a period of time during the midst of the pandemic where they either got tested or they had the vaccine.
You either believe in women's health care choices or not.
Well, I am opposed, and I have been opposed, and I have been, to vaccine requirements. I even
Then why didn't you put your foot down? You're in charge. You're the governor.
Because it's not about rhetoric. It's about encouraging people to do the right thing. I bet there's people here who didn't get vaccinated.
Jared, I've met with many women healthcare workers.
Have you been vaccinated? Have you been vaccinated?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and thank you for agreeing with me that we shouldn't force others to get vaccinated.
That's my own personal decision.
Okay, we're